Hey guys, Mr. Flanagan here, giving you a hopefully quick tutorial on how to set up a Google Sites website and some of the basic functions of it, just so you can kind of get started. You'll want to play with it a little bit more to get into the specifics, and I'll provide you some links to helpful videos or files that can help you get a little bit more creative with it. But this is just to kind of get you started. So the first thing we're going to do is go to sites.google.com. And it'll already have you logged in for Long Beach Unified. You want to click here on New Google Sites off to the left, because New Google Sites, it doesn't have as many design options or layout options, but it is much easier to use than the sort of traditional classic Google Sites. If you're up for a challenge and you want to try it and have those more options, you can click Create up here, but we're going to start with New Google Sites for those of us who are not super experienced with putting together a website. This looks kind of like your drive. The first thing you're going to do is, I'm assuming you don't have a website up here, you're going to go to the bottom right, click on the red plus sign, whatever color it is for you. And boom, here's sort of your template. Before we get started, I know everybody wants to pick their template. One of the good things about the themes over here in the top right-hand corner for Google Sites is you only have a few options. You got Simple, Aristotle, Diplomat, Vision, Level, and Impression. Now, pick the font or sort of design style that you like. And then you can also play with the colors a little bit. But I like this just because you're not going to spend an hour picking from 100 different templates. So we can get started pretty quick. First thing, you want to make sure you give your website a title. I'm going to call it Personal Finance. Hopefully you're a little bit more creative than that. And this will be sort of the landing page, the home page for your website, that when you give them a link, this will be the first thing that people see. So I'm going to call it homepage just so we can keep that straight. But again, you'll want to be more creative than that. If we click over here on Insert, this is really our home screen for Google Sites. This is where you can insert a text box, where you can insert images, you can embed audio files, video files, PDFs or images that you created yourself, like your infographic that you'll want to do. And you can also upload things, again, the audio files, sort of as links or clickable links. You also have components. You can add dividers to kind of give some space to your website so not everything's all crammed in there together. The cool thing about this is that since we use Google Drive a lot in Long Beach Unified, Google Sites is already connected to your Drive. So as long as you save things, whether it's audio, video, docs, Google Slides, which are like PowerPoints, in your Drive, you have access to them right here. So if you want to embed something that you found on YouTube that was helpful, you can just click on YouTube right here, search up your video, and it will embed it automatically because Google and YouTube work really well together. They talk. Same thing here with Google Docs. If you've created something in the past, if we want to click on Google Docs, it'll actually pull up a list of things that you have recently worked on, so that instead of having to copy and paste and do all sorts of stuff, you can just search for your own document under Docs, click the little search icon, and type in Personal Finance. And whenever something shows up that you want, you can double click it and it will automatically embed it into the website for you. And then you can kind of click and drag it around to move it to where you want it to be. So just some of the basics here. If we click around, there's not much going on. All we have is the home page. We already did that. Unfortunately, with Google Sites, you don't have a ton of control or customization options for text. You can change the size of it here. You have normal, title, heading, and subheading. But we know that's too small, so we want to keep that as the title. And then you can align it to the left, center, or right. Unfortunately, like I said, those are really the only options that you have for customizing the text. When you want to add something to a page, like your home page, you might want to say, what is this website all about? That might be something you want to just put on there so your reader knows what the website's going to be all about. You can hit the enter key and start typing about what is my website going to be all about. Again, you want to treat this homepage as like a landing site. You don't want it to be super crowded with a bunch of different links and crazy images and audio files and everything like that, because that's just going to freak people out and they're not going to want to check out your website anymore. So you'll want to put some text, maybe what's your website about, maybe what career are you looking at, things like that for your budget project. Might want to put an image or two. So again, if you click on image over here, you can either pick an image that you save to your Google Drive, or that you have in albums if you've been putting together a folder of images, or you can actually do a Google image search right in here. It's kind of built in, and you can do types of images based on color, transparency, things like that. I'm just going to pick a nice one of money here, and it automatically drops it in. So then if you don't like it on this side of the screen, if you click it, it gives you kind of grids that'll help you center it. So when you see those blue brackets, you know that it's centered on the page, and you have a nice image right there. One thing to keep in mind is you don't want a bunch of just dead space, blank space over here all the time. You will want to try to put text and images and have them work together, have them work a little bit more in sync with each other than just completely separate components. Same thing, we'll get to embedding a little bit later, but if you wanted to embed either a website or a link, or when you get to code where you actually can put an audio or video file, so it's not actually linked, it's just like buried actually in your website, so somebody can just hit play without having to go to a different website, we can do that as well. So if you record a video or an audio and you have a YouTube page, you can upload it to your YouTube, and then you can embed it directly from YouTube, which is a nice function there. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is, again, this is the home page. This is going to have some basic information. Think about it kind of like a table of contents, but don't just list everything that's on your website, because this isn't a book. What you want to do is create different pages. And on the directions for your website project, I have some suggestions of how you could organize your website that you don't have to follow it exactly like that. So in order to add a new page that people can go to within your website, we go over here to the top right and click Pages. We have right here, it says Homepage. So that's the only part of our website right now. There's no other pages that people can click to other than what's on that homepage. To change that, we go over here and we click on the three little dots, and we click Add Subpage. It's going to ask you, well, what do you want to call it? Well, I'm going to call this one Career Research, because I did a little bit of research on the career that I want to do when I get out of high school or college. I'm going to click Done, and I want to capitalize it because we're adults and we want things to look nice and have proper punctuation and grammar, and also it's part of your grade. And so now here's a whole new page that's blank that you can go back to Insert, and you can put in a text box, and let's say my career was a mechanic. I want to make that nice and big. And then here's where I might start putting my beginning salary. Oops, I don't like that. Training required, schooling. This is where you can start adding in things from the front page of your budget doc, and maybe what sort of technology is involved in that career, and putting in your own information. So this is a page just about the career research and also sort of the job outlook. Is this a growing field? Is it shrinking? Do people want this in the future based on that link I provided to you? So then now we have a page about career research. And again, you can do the same thing, put images, videos, audio, anything you want in there. But we know that's not the end of the project. So I want to go back and make another page. So on the same three dots by home, I'm going to click Add a Subpage, and I'm going to do salary and taxes. So now I have a different page, again, that I can put text and images and everything that I want in there that deals only with salary and taxes. So, I want to put an image in there. Let's put in a Google search for taxes and see what shows up. I'm not seeing anything I really like, so I could always jump out to an actual Google search, but this one will work for now because we did talk about filing taxes a bit, and the directions do want you to talk about your W-4. So we have an image that you can work on centering. Then I'll drop in another text box. Actually, you know what? I don't want this here. I think I made a mistake. So what I can do is I can actually just hover over here and click Delete Section. And I want to put in a divider. Give a little bit of dividing space between the picture and the text. So now I'm going to start with the beginning salary. I'm going to have federal tax taken out, state tax taken out, and all that other stuff from the front page of your budget document. And now when I look over here, I know I have an image, I have a little bit of divider to create a little bit of space for me, and then some more helpful information. And this is also how you can navigate between the pages. So now you have up here a new button up here that says home. So I can go back to the home page where it saved my work because it's Google, it automatically saves. I can click over to career research, there's my page there, and then back to my salary and taxes. So you can add as many pages as you want. You wouldn't want really more than 5 or 6 because then it just seems like it's kind of crowded and busy and you could have added a couple of pages together instead of having 15 separate sub pages. Last couple of things, if you want to change the background image, if you don't like this one here, you can. You can either select an image that's saved on your drive. They have some nice options for you here if you like them. But again, you can also go out and do your own Google search. So if you wanted to be a mechanic, and that's what you have for your career choice, you could search for mechanic and see if there's an image that you like better. And it takes a minute because it's sort of auto formatting. You can see it saying adjusting for readability here. So it'll scale everything for you, keep it nice and clean and crisp, no blurry images. And boom, I kind of like that one. It might be a little bit harder to see my title here. So I need to keep in mind, I want to find an image that makes me so I can actually read the text. It doesn't just kind of blur it out like this one is a little bit. So these are just the basics of Google Sites in terms of how can you create new pages, add different elements to it. You can click preview right up here to see what it would look like for somebody visiting your page. So you're out of the editor mode, and so that's what they'd see on the home page. That's what they'd see on career research. That's what they'd see on salary and taxes. Then you can just go back to your sites, and when you're ready, and you feel like you're ready to save it and let the world see it, right up here, the big bluish purple, I'm kind of colorblind, I'm going to call that bluish purple. Publish your site. And this is where you can choose what it will actually show when you need to type in something. So sites.google.com/lbschools.net/personal finance Jeff Flake, shout out to 6th period there. That one's available. And here you can set who can view my site, anyone at Long Beach Unified. We're actually going to change that. We're going to click Manage. And where are we going here? Anyone can find and view the published version. And then when it comes to the draft, you just want to make sure only you can see that. But again, you want to say published, anyone can find and view. And I'm going to click Done. If you don't want search engines to be able to find you, you can click that. But for now, we're going to keep that one open so you can actually see if people visit your website over the next month or two before school ends. So again, do not click this box. We're going to hit Publish. And it's publishing. It'll take a little bit longer depending on how many images and videos you have. And so once you click Publish, now you have where it says Copy Publish Site Link. That is the link that you would give people. You can copy that and you will be able to paste that, email it to yourself so you can work on it at home and log in. Or when we're done with the project, everybody's going to post their links to a common document so everybody in class can check out your work. And I will also be sending your work to other people on campus and in the district, and then your work will be public. So people will be seeing this, not just me, not just people in the classroom, people in other classrooms, teachers, administrators, and then just random people searching up personal finance on Google. So you want to keep that in mind as you're making your website. Make it look good, make it functional, make sure it includes all of the required information. And like I said, again, I will be providing you with links and documents on how to do other basic things and just some refreshers so you don't have to watch this video every time. But for now, that should get you started on putting the basic components of your website together. Whenever you get stuck on something or you have a question or you want to see, hey, can we actually do this? Then just call me over for some help. But for now, go ahead and get started.